If you play PUBG Mobile as much as I did back in the day and you want to switch over to Warzone Mobile, there is a chance that you most likely want to try out a PUBG gun before you try out any kind of gun. So in this video series, I'll talk about Warzone Mobile guns that are very similar to PUBG Mobile guns. You can start out with these guns. If you like them, you can then customize them more to suit your playstyle. Now, for the customary disclaimer, all the information that I'm going to give in this video is based off the PC version of the game and also from the alpha tests that we've gotten. The criteria that I use to select the guns is based off of the look of the gun, so the pictures of the guns that are available, and also the names. In this video, if there are multiple guns that are iterations of the PUBG gun, I will also state which ones are better. I'll have to split these videos into parts because there are a lot of PUBG guns and a lot of Warzone guns to get into. And the criteria that I'll use to judge which gun is better is based off charts from truegamedata.com, and in these charts I will set the enemy to have the maximum amount of health that is possible to have, and I will be judging with the time it takes to kill the enemy when you shoot chest and when you shoot head, depending on the range that you are at, which can either be close range, mid range, or long range. I will also provide you with some detailed statistics on ammo per mag, how fast the guns shoot, and some other things, so you can keep that in mind if you're interested in those stats. These are the criteria we'll use to judge all of the guns. The better gun out of all of these guns that I've selected will vary very much depending on what kinds of attachments that you add to them. And since this game does not have very straightforward attachments like in PUBG Mobile, I will only judge these guns based off the base gun. I will not add any attachments, I will not attach any mags, nothing, just the base gun in order to keep everything fair. So sit back and enjoy, and let's get into it. Now, as the fan favorite gun of every PUBG Mobile player, I cannot start this video series without talking about the M4. The M4 is good at close range, beautiful in mid range, and almost decent for long range combat. In Warzone Mobile, the guns I found that look exactly like the M4 are the XM4, the M13, and the M4A1. Now, before I continue, I know there's someone who's shouting right now and about to go to the comments and say the M4A1 is a gun of its own in PUBG Mobile. I know, but the M4A1 in PUBG Mobile is a burst gun. It's not an automatic gun. In Warzone Mobile, the M4A1 is an automatic gun. So because of that, I decided to remove the M4A1 from this list entirely and meld it together with the M4. But if I do see another gun that matches the M4A1, I will put it in the video series as we move on. Just keep that in mind. Now, according to truegamedata.com, when we look at the chest charts, the chest chart shows that the lowest time to kill comes to the M4A1 in close range to mid-range combat. It goes very high immediately you go into long range, and the XM4 then becomes the better gun for long range combat. But the difference between the M4A1 and the XM4 is not that much, so I don't really think that anyone should really bother about the XM4. But if you do not have the M4A1, then you can go for the XM4. Now, when we switch over to the headshot chart, we see that the M4A1 still dominates. The XM4 is marginally better though. If you're able to hit headshots at long range, you have a way shorter time to kill. But the M4A1 still dominates above the M13, which has the longest time to kill here. And also, it's also good because the M4A1 is unlocked at level 1. And the XM4 is unlocked at level 4. So you can basically start off with this weapon in your custom loadouts and you will not regret it. So yeah, there you go. There's your Warzone Mobile equivalent of the M4. Known as a gun that is absolutely very powerful when it comes to close range combat, but absolutely terrible in long range combat, the AKM is always the secondary gun that everyone who uses the M4 will use. This gun is actually most probably the second most loved gun next to the M416 and the M762. And when you combine this gun with the M416, when you're carrying dual ARs, you practically shred enemies like butter. So let's talk about the AKM next. And for the AKM, I was able to find 4 guns actually that look very similar to this gun. The AS-44, the AK-47 Cold War Edition, the AK-47 Modern Warfare Edition, and the C58. Now, to clear up any confusion, the guns present in Warzone are amalgamations of guns from different games, so you can have 2 or more versions of the same gun in one game, but each version of the gun has different stats, which is why I am including the 2 variants of the AK-47 in here. So diving straight into the chest data charts, we can see very clearly that the AS-44 is significantly better when it's doing chest damage. Now, whenever you are doing headshot damage, on the other hand, the C58 comes out in hand. That's actually quite interesting because I was expecting the AK-47 to do well on its own. Now, I know there's going to be another group of people who are going to argue that the C58 and the AS-44 may not be AK-47s or rather AKMs. So, for you, if that's not the case, then remove the guns that you do not like and work with that data. In this case, this is what we have. And yeah, that's your AKM equivalent to go along with your M416. You can actually argue that the M762 is the second most loved gun in the game apart from the AKM. Some people will say it's the AKM, others will say it's the M762. All we know is that if we combine these 2 guns, either the AKM or the M762, we will absolutely shred people in combat. So I tried to look for an M762 counterpart in Warzone. I couldn't really find any. The only gun that I saw that looked like the M762 was the CR56 AMAX. And you may not use this gun in the game if this game follows the PC path, because the PC path states that you need the battle pass in order to unlock this, and well, not everyone is going to play with the battle pass. But if you're going to play with the battle pass, and if this gun is actually going to be locked behind the battle pass, then here are the stats of the gun. It's interesting, it doesn't really have that much bullet velocity compared to the XM4 and the M13 and the other guns. Its bullet velocity is quite slow. ADS movement speed is decent, but the fire rate is actually pretty much on par with the rest of them. And if we decide to look at the charts, we see that the average time to kill for this gun, if you're going with chest shots, is roughly about 1.1 seconds. If you're going to do headshots though, you come out to a time of about 0.81, roughly about 0.81 seconds to down someone with 400 HP. I mean, that's actually quite nice. I can see why this is not really an unlockable weapon, because this is not like a very meta weapon from the stats that I'm seeing here. But like I said in the disclaimer, these guns' performances can be vastly affected by the kinds of attachments that you add to them. We do not know what kinds of attachments we will get in Warzone Mobile, but then depending on what those attachments are, you could turn this gun into a living beast that you can combine with the XM4 or the M4A1 and also absolutely shred people like you would in PUBG Mobile. So I think I'm going to end off the video here. I've gone on for too long and I don't want this video to cross the 10-minute mark. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe. There will be a second part coming next week. I'll keep dropping these videos in parts weekly until we get Warzone Mobile, and then I'll start to play the game and give you different kinds of content on the game. So again, make sure you're subscribed. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.